If you're like me, you might think AI-generated stories are just fiction. But what if one of those stories wasn't made up? What if it was a warning? I'm a writer by trade, always chasing fresh ideas, but lately inspiration was running dry. So one night, out of curiosity, I decided to try something new. I typed my deepest fears and darkest thoughts into an AI story generator and asked it to write me a horror story, something unique, something personalized. At first, it was fascinating. The AI spun a chilling tale about a man trapped in his home, haunted by an unseen shadow that could slip through cracks, shadows, even reflections. I laughed it off as creative fiction, but the more I read, the more unsettled I felt. Then strange things started happening. It began with my phone. At midnight it rang, always the same unknown number. I never answered, but the calls kept coming. One night the power flickered in my apartment. The lights dimmed, then brightened like a pulse. When the lights came back, I noticed my reflection in the mirror seemed off. It didn't move exactly with me. It hesitated, blinked slower, and at one point it smiled when I didn't. I told myself I was imagining things, stress, lack of sleep, but then I found scratches on my bedroom door. Tiny jagged marks like claws scraping wood. I don't own pets. No one else has keys. The AI story had described these scratches. The shadow leaves its mark before it appears. I started avoiding mirrors. I even covered them with sheets, but the feeling of being watched only grew stronger. I would hear whispers, soft voices just beyond comprehension. Sometimes footsteps, slow, deliberate, pacing outside my bedroom. Every night, the calls at midnight. No words, just static. The AI story warned that the shadow could enter through reflections and shadows. Any place darkness lives. Darkness. One night I woke up frozen in my bed. My room was pitch black, but I saw a silhouette at the foot of my bed. It wasn't human, but it wasn't just a shadow either. It pulsed with a dark, oily energy like something made of smoke and malice. I couldn't move. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Then it whispered, not through my ears, but inside my mind. You should have stopped reading. Terrified, I tried deleting the story from my computer. But every time I open the file, the words change. New lines appear. Messages, warnings. The shadow never leaves. And neither will I. Last night, the power went out again. I felt cold breath on my neck. I dared to look in the mirror and saw not my reflection, but that shadow and grinning at me. Now I don't know what's real anymore. The story feels alive, like it's writing me into it page by page. So if you ever decide to ask an AI to write your darkest fears, be careful. Some stories don't want to stay fiction, and if you hear a whisper behind you or see something in the mirror that doesn't belong, maybe it's already too late.